Well, that didn't take long now, did it? We now have the fox in the background. Welcome back, everyone, to more Tiny Bunny. I gotta say, so far, this game is really good in terms of the ambience it gives off as well as the story. So far, we met the fox lady known as Elisa, or at least that's what she's going by temporarily, and how we're now setting the stage for what's his name, Anton's school life. So we're gonna continue on from where we last left off and see how it goes from there. So if anything else, hope you all continue to enjoy. Thank you again for all love and support. And let's do this.
Я...
Then she suddenly put her hands on her hips.
Нет, ну вы посмотрите на него. Облапал меня прямо у всех на глазах. Я сейчас все маме расскажу.
I was pushed into you in case you've forgotten, but okay.
Тебя из школы выгонит, извращенец.
There was some sort of sadistic pleasure in her eyes, as if she was a child who was about to put a lit-up match to the Schaefer beetle.
Я нечаянно, меня толкнули.
Все видели, слепых среди нас нет.
She stared at my glasses while showing me a creepy smile. I started to fume on the inside, but Semyon's laughter cooled my head.
Толкнули? Чё, правда?
He swaggered up to me, enveloping me in the smell of sunflower seeds and rotting teeth, and then pushed me to the ground.
Вот так, да? И чё ты сделаешь?
Please punch the kid. Please, Anton. I beg you. The bully towered over me as if saying, "Come on, hit me. Let me see you try." Oh, yes. Okay, hold on. We're gonna save. Cause we will fight back. It's go time. No enduring. Oh, look how mean he looks. Oh, you think I'm gonna give you the satisfaction of you smiling like that? No, we're fighting.
Слушай, ты...
My throat went dry. My lips were moving on their own, and my voice was acting to a stifled squeal. Semyon wore a mocking smile.
Давай, продолжай, очкарик. Чё примолк-то? Нам всем очень интересно. Если еще хоть раз меня тронешь...
Semyon slowly stuck out a finger and poked my forehead.
Натронул и чё?
Oh, dude, Anton, come on. You know what to do.
Еще хоть раз! Тронул! А вот еще! И еще! И еще! И еще!
He was poking me with his finger so hard that my head tilted backward. I must not cry, or I'll be done for.
Чё ты мне сделаешь, мямля?
My vision went blurry. My soles tore off from the floor. I rushed forward and threw a random punch without looking. Thank you! God! What I saw when I opened my eyes was beautiful and horrifying at the same time. Samuel was holding his ear and blinking in amazement. No pain, he used force. Was I the first person to rebel against his absolute rule? I needed to run, but I was already surrounded by his cronies.
Лилия Павловна! Лилия Павловна! Петров Бабурина ударил!
Semyon's cheeks grew even redder, and his pimples even whiter, like the heads of larvae, but a smile flashed on his face. That was only noticed among his comrades. He got really close to me. The smell of rotten teeth washed over me.
Тебе пиздец!
His voice was evil and dangerous, like someone tore off the lid from a kettle of boiling fat. I was waiting to get hit, counting the thumps of my heart and guessing where his fist would go. The solar plexus, the jaw, the nose. But he just turned around and walked off. A thought, cold and sober, extremely rational, popped up in my head. I'm gonna get killed today. I was late to leave the school after classes on purpose. Semyon didn't attend the last period, so I was hopeful. What if he decided to dodge the cleaning duty and ran home, forgetting all about me? I doubt that, dude. I heaved a sigh of relief, like someone on death row whose execution was delayed by a day. But I didn't let myself forget his tone, his vengeful gaze, and his scary, electrified smirk. While the other students were leaving the school, laughing loudly, I was pretending to skim through my books near a window. I was staring outside, nervous. Semyon was nowhere to be found in the front yard or near the school gate. I didn't really believe I was lucky, so I decided to be extra cautious and stay for some more time in the corridor that was gradually getting less crowded. Just leave him to the forest, dude. Let him go missing. Help the bustle move to the first floor. There was a skeleton peeking out of biology classroom. Some jokester put a cap with the American condor on its head. The The sound of running water were coming from the bathroom. I was the only person left in the whole school. I'm not alone, a sudden thought came to mind. I remembered the missing boy. His portrait was on the notice board near the schedule. I remembered his smile, him looking at me, and the fact he's mostly likely already dead.
Привет.
I shuddered and turned around. At first, my eye stumbled upon the black violin case. Then, I noticed a girl from my class was holding it. She sat in the first row of the second column. I could swear I caught her looking at me a couple of times, and I was sneaking glances at her myself. Sometimes, it just feels nice to look at something pretty. The spring, the sky, or a girl that's not in the crowd that laughs at Semyon's jokes. And she wasn't whispering the dirty laundry of other people to Katya. She spent all the breaks just like me, staying in the classroom or looking in the window or drawing something in her green notebook.
Здравствуй.
I turned red and pretended I was studying the pattern on the wooden floor.
Круто ты ему врезал.
Ha! I knew that choice was good. It attracted a girl's attention.
Это вышло случайно. Почти.
I started shoving books in my backpack to at least put something in my hands.
Вроде Семен раньше таким не был. Он к нам недавно перевелся. Бабушка мне его по секрету сказала, что он словно взбесился. Семена даже старшеклассники побаиваются. Представляешь? А ты вот молодец. Не струсил.
Угу.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. Me? Brave? A hero that's been standing around in the hallway to avoid a beating? The girl looked at me with her clear, attentive eyes.
А ты за рекой живешь? В том деревянном доме?
Ну да.
Там, наверное, страшно. Да еще через лес идти. Я бы так не смогла.
I shivered at the mention of the forest. I thought of intertwining branches of a snake like a trail of endless darkness that spread like mold among the crooked trees, so I straight up lied.
Да не так уж там и страшно. А что тебя так пугает?
She smiled after a brief pause, as if brushing off a daydream.
Да так, ничего. Меня, кстати, Полина зовут.
А меня Антон.
Polina.
Ну, это я знаю. Слушай, Антон. А что ты делаешь после школы?
My chest felt prickly after an innocent question, yet somehow felt pleasant.
Ничего такого.
I stumbled and didn't finish my sentence. What happened here? Oh, this is so cool. Elisa's predatory smile flashed in front of my eyes. Her playful eyes and the slits of mask were probably just a product of my imagination, though. What if that fox girl is waiting for me after school? You know, for what it's worth, I'd rather her than that dumb bully. Or was it another of her weird jokes? I wonder if she's hiding a big red tail under her coat. I suddenly got covered with beads of sweat, like after a PE class. I wanted to take a shower as I was just thinking if the foxy girl made me dirty, sold my clothes, lured me into the forest's embrace.
У меня сейчас занятие, скрипка, а потом я свободна. Дедушка мне репетитора нанял. Наш учитель музыки, он же скрипач. А здесь, в поселке, ему некому преподавать. Только мне.
She waved her free hand in the air, imitating the movement of a bow on violin strings. I could almost hear the music. It chased Elisa out of my head. I looked at Polina's lips, catching her every word, and was frozen from the unusual sensations. They were warm, soothing, and tingly. It felt like I was very small, and the feelings were immense, and they couldn't fit inside me.
Тут говорят, что у нас в поселке маньяк завелся. Раньше со школы меня всегда дедушка забирал, но в последнее время ему не здоровится.
I stuck a glance at Vova's photo. His eye wells were studying me. His lips were wearing black lipstick, just like the portrait of a gravestone.
Ты не подумай, я не трусишка, просто мне кажется, что с тобой будет безопаснее.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Антон, ты сможешь проводить меня до дома?
It would be hilarious if the twist was she was the fox. I'd be like, oh no. Or worse yet, this is all a scheme. Ugh, I hope not. There it was. Finally, everything that I read about in the adventure books, everything that I dreamt about was seeping into my life. A mysterious crime, a beautiful stranger, and a heroic duel. A duel. Thinking of Samuel instantly sobered me up, returned me back to earth, and started shaking under my feet like a deck of ship. If only I could use to rise to the occasion in front of Polina. Because no matter how brave I was trying to act, it was obvious for both of us that I wouldn't be able to stand a chance against a big guy like that. I mean, if you play dirty, you can. And him knocking me out won't even be the worst of it. The worst part is that Polina will see all of it. And she'll laugh at me like everybody else. No, I don't need anybody to see me in such a shameful state.
Сегодня вряд ли получится. Ты же знаешь, Семен, скорее всего, караулит на школьном дворе. Лучше мне с ним разобраться лично, по-мужски.
Глупости какие.
Polina brushed off some hair off her forehead, and I sensed a weak aroma of blackberry. Polina was like water when you're thirsty. You gulp it down and still wanted more. I remember the summer evenings at the country house, the fire's pungent smoke, the berries hanging over our fence from the neighbors, and a soft cover of pine needles under my soles. Those few peaceful days when I felt completely safe. My mom resting in the hammock, my dad putting meat in the skewer. Could I have foreseen the upcoming catastrophe in the crackle of the coals in our parents' laughs and the smell of the fleeting July? Could I have seen how fragile that world was?
Думаешь, этот дикарь будет честно драться? Со своими дружками набросятся всем скопом, опомниться даже не дадут.
Polina suddenly flashed a devious smile.
Но если мы пойдем вместе, это их ошарашит.
Oh, I like the way you think, Polina.
Я же не только первая скрипка на деревне. Я ведь еще и девочка.
I'm not the only first one. Okay.
Слышала от знакомого хулигана, что он никогда не нападает на кого-то в присутствии девушки. Представляешь, у них кодекс чести такой.
A delinquent, you know? Thought, worried. Is he better than me? Taller? More handsome?
Ой, мне на музыку пора.
She made a couple of steps and stopped. Amazing. Polina didn't look like those beauties from the magazine posters or the actresses from the movies. But in the flickering light of the ceiling lamp, she looked much more alluring.
А ты играешь на чем-нибудь?
My parents bought me a guitar a couple years ago. I immediately remember my meager attempts at making music. Change. We're all waiting for change. Zoe's song echoed my thoughts and my desire to change something. That guitar got lost somewhere as we were refusing to move to the old house through the forest. I think my parents gave it away to someone that needed it more.
Увы, не играю.
Жалко. Ну ладно, я побежала. Пока!
Her shout was captured by the loud echo. Her shoes also echoed to the school hallways.
Пока!
I wasn't sure if Polina heard me. I looked out the window again. The schoolyard was empty. Just a couple of grade schoolers throwing snowballs at each other. Nobody who looked like the hulking Semyon with his cronies. This was giving me hope. What should I do? Polina could become my friend, the first one on this new place. And besides, she may be in real danger of meeting a killer, and I'll be her defender, her knight. And even though my inner voice was hesitant and whispered about running away from the killers lurking in the woods at night, Polina was worth the risk. But the red cunning fox was also intriguing. She promised to help me look for Volva, and this would bring me a reward. More money will almost guarantee peace in my family. Gifts for Olia. I imagine my sister, happy like those girls who get prizes from Supanev in the finest hour. She'll be dancing with the famous singers, maybe a new popular boy band like Ivanushki International. Mom and Dad hugging in the Ostankino Pavilion, and then all of us going to Disneyland. There's Polina. There's a few things to eye here. Oh, what the hell? Oh, crap. Hold on, let's save. Alright, this is giving me choices here, and I'm assuming that from here on in it's gonna... Well, not from here on in, but there's gonna be some branching points. Let me check this first. Somebody left their school shoes in the windowsill. Judging from the size, they belong to a boy my age. Turn me around and I'll tell you who's stupid. I bet something offensive is written on the other side. I wonder how long would Simeon keep turning it around if it fell into his hands. Alright, and this. An abandoned zinc bucket with a rag in the bottom of it, filled to the brim with murky tap water. It reeked of salty chemicals, and the stench was so intense that I felt sick. I staggered away from it, praying that I don't meet the same fate as the person on cleaning duty. I like how she's in the back. I like how the light in the background is enshrining her to make it come off like she's some sort of angel or some guiding light. And then we got this one here with the cracks and scratches. Ah. How funny would it be if Elisa was like the best choice? But then again, that's why I saved. Let's do one more save. Alright, from here on in, I'm going Polina. I can't trust you just yet. Snow danced in the air outside the window, following the rhythm of the music that was flowing from around the corner. I jumped off the windowsill and started walking along the hallway, curiosity eating away at me. The half an hour I'd spent here waiting crawled at a snail's pace. I wanted to see Polina again. The music became louder. It streamed out the half-open door at the far end of the corridor. My music taste was limited to Letov, Shevchuk, the timeless classics and pop songs I saw on TV, along with music videos that would sometimes be put on tapes as teasers before a movie. But this violin melody captivated me. It felt like a master woodcutter working with delicate wood. A fragile crystal toy, a gust of warm wind. I pressed my cheek against the doorway. Polina was hiding from me in the far end of the classroom, but a shadow that fell on the wall definitely belonged to a girl with a violin. The movements of her bow were so graceful that I felt like I was getting carried away on the waves of music. My heart broke the barrier of my ribcage and started hopping around. Man, I love the prose of this novel so far, and the music is just... I like how they're so welly knit together. Faster and faster, I jumped on snow piles, gliding between the pines toward the fiery sun above the windfall.
Заскучал?
I was so deep in thought that I didn't hear the approaching footsteps. After bathing in music, Polina felt even more
Да
magical.
нет. Я о комиксе своем думал.
For some unknown reason, I lied.
Ты комиксы рисуешь?
Да, ну, то есть, планирую рисовать.
Ага. И про что твой комикс?
About the most charming and kind girl that plays a violin who somehow happened to be in this house of horror.
Про лесу. Ой, точнее, про говорящих животных, что живут в лесу и помогают заблудившимся детям вернуться домой. А потом они пляшут в ночи.
Ого! Как интересно! Сам придумал?
I lowered my gaze.
Вдохновился, глядя в окно.
You went on a date with Polina. Nightly vows. We descended to the first floor. I opened the door in front of Polina. Dad told me how essential it is to be a gentleman.
Значит, творческая личность. Я догадывалась, что ты не такой, как все. Особенный.
Шутишь? Я самый обыкновенный.
Это Семён обыкновенный. В смысле, обычный придурок. А в тебе живет нечто доброе и пушистое.
Something barked near my leg when we were crossing the schoolyard, interrupting Polina.
Не бойся, это Жулька.
I stood on one knee and rubbed the barking dog behind the ear. It was frantically wagging its tail like it was some sort of propeller. I looked around the yard trying to find Elisa, but the foster girl was nowhere to be found, neither in the yard or on the road.
Брось ее! Ты что, она же дикая! Клещей еще подцепишь.
Нет, у нее хозяйка есть. Вроде.
Polina looked at the playful dog with disgust, covering her mouth with a handkerchief.
А у тебя никакой еды не завалялось?
Кажется, что-то осталось. Покормим и пойдем, ладно?
She took out a sandwich out of her bag, threw it to Zulka. The little dog rushed to her banquet, swept away by the bread with her nose, and started eating the bologna.
Какая привереда. Ешь все, давай.
Polina tugged my sleeve, egging me on.
Ты чего?
I was wondering if that laugh was gonna keep looping or if I just had to wait a bit. The violin girl had literally dragged me out of the school gate, stifling laughs into a fist. I turned around. Zulka followed us with sad eyes as we were leaving. The dog looked especially lonely with the school as the backdrop. And then Polina just stopped laughing. She walked alongside me with a blank stare, completely silent.
Нечего паразитов плодить.
Wow. Her remark turned out pretty harsh. Was it really the stray's fault she had to live in the street?
Они потом на людей кидаются.
She either had a traumatic experience, which is why she's treating Zulka the way she is, or there's something else going on. That's why.
Прошлой зимой такая стая чуть дедушку не загрызла.
Какой кошмар. Ему с тех пор не здоровится?
Его парализовало.
Ouch.
Он больше никогда не сможет ходить.
I remember the scary pack of dogs that was chasing me a while ago.
Мне очень жаль.
Ничего.
Polina showed me another enchanting smile, her eyes half closed.
Главное, что мы друг друга поняли.
I forgot all about Zulka after she said that. Some third graders were throwing snowballs at each other and singing.
Раз, два, прилети сова.
The owl? Olia. An image of my sister sitting near the window, bored, looking for me in the twilight, flashed before my eyes. I promised myself that I would go home as soon as I escort Polina.
А что это за песенку малые поют? Уже второй раз за день ее слышу.
We were walking down the main street. Somewhere near a tractor was grumbling, cleaning snowdrifts. Ravens flew across the ashen sky. A flock of black birds circled above us, like scary crosses that ran away from the graves.
Про сову? Это считалочка местная. Мне ее в детстве дедушка напевал. Он интересуется историей края. Много знает про наш фольклор.
И что там за считалочка такая?
Слушай.
She started walking backwards, facing me and smiling.
Раз, два. Прилети сова. 3, 4, 5. Время поиграть. 6 да 6. Дыбом волчья шерсть. 7, 8. Бьем копытом озимь. Для медведя, для лисы. Зайчик кушать принеси.
I thought that I had already met a fox this morning. Thankfully, I hadn't met any wolves or bears. As I was looking at the girl by my side, I became strangely brave, so I said something
У
unexpected.
тебя красивый голос.
Polina adjusted her hair slightly, embarrassed.
Спасибо.
И что же, это конец считалочки? Принес им заяц покушать или нет?
Поди узнай. Спросить не у кого. Считалочка очень старая. Древняя даже. С ней легенда одна связана. Если тебе интересно.
Конечно.
Тут в тайге раньше племена жили разные. Дедушка говорит, у них была такая инициация. Короче, такой ритуал, когда мальчику наступала пора становиться мужчиной.
Initiation? I listened closely. I mean, I was also really close to that age myself.
Юношу отводили в лес, и он должен был 3 ночи провести там охотясь. По легенде, один такой юноша ушел в тайгу и пропал. А вернулся, когда его перестали искать. Нагрянул в деревню, исцарапанный, грязный, замерзший.
I imagine sleeping among the pines and bear lairs.
Родные выбежали к нему, а он упал на землю. Привели шамана. Тот осмотрел молодого охотника и помрачнел. Сказал, плохи дела.
The imagery in these stories are quite graphic too. Like, look at this. God. It's so good though, in terms of art style.
До утра юноша бился в судорогах и повторял эту снова и снова. Раз, два, прилети сова, будто ему в тайге нашептали. А к рассвету он умер. Только Только вот шаман сказал, что он и так был мертв, что он мертвым из лесу пришел и мертвыми губами шептал считалочку.
I froze in fear.
Это точно не ужастик.
Фольклор бывает пострашнее всякого кино, уж поверь. Дедушка говорит, что племя то собралось спешно и ушло на юг.
Они были смелыми, если жили здесь.
Polina kicked one of the snow piles with her small boot.
Смелыми и глупыми. Неужели надо мертвецу явиться из лесу, чтобы до людей дошло?
Дошло что?
Что нужно уезжать отсюда. Есть целый мир, а есть наш поселок. Мир!
She spread her arms wide.
Поселок.
She showed a distance that was almost invisible with her two
Я
fingers.
часто представляю большие города. Могу часами рассматривать глобус. Или журналы «Вокруг света» из библиотеки. Какие же там прекрасные названия. Только послушай. Рейкьявик, Тель-Авив. Это же чистейшая музыка, а не слова.
She started circling, her eyes shut dreamingly. The forest towered before us, touching the low clouds. The road fell into a semi-dark between the trees.
Я бы могла покорить сцену. Выступать перед тысячами зрителей.
А я сцены ужасно боюсь.
Так ты другим возьмешь, живописью. У нас-то есть будущее. А что ждет того же Семена? Ну, станет он еще толще. Ну.
Будет пирожками торговать.
Ага. С собачатиной.
We burst out laughing, exercising worry from our minds with lighthearted fun.
Если ему, конечно, доверят пирожки.
Наверное, ты права. Он их в один присест слопает.
Я так и думала, что вдвоем в лесу не страшно.
I looked around. The snow was sparkling, reflecting the last rays of the setting sun. My pulse fastened from the thought that we were alone.
Да, ты была права.
Uh-oh. She's looking anxious. Oh, who the hell? Polina rushed to the fire break.
Не отставай!
Никогда в жизни!
Ты знаешь, ты так изъясняешься, как персонаж с приключенческой книжки.
Was she complimenting or mocking me? I didn't want to look for the hidden meaning, not when we were on such a wonderful walk.
Ну да, я люблю книги.
Ого, читающий мужчина. Звучит интригующе.
A man? Really? I got embarrassed and my cheeks turned beet red. But I still thank fate for being able to wander around the forest with Polina like this. We just passed a stranger, by the way. The girl suddenly stopped and stared into the darkening thicket without making a sound, as if waiting for something. I felt uneasy all of a sudden, and she asked me in a cold voice.
Ты был там?
Где? В чаще?
Да нет! В большом мире! В городах с музыкальными названиями!
А разве Москва музыкальное название? Больше похоже на кваканье лягушки.
Polina froze and looked at me in disbelief.
Ты был в Москве?
Ну да, в детстве.
И какая она?
I skipped a few. That was an accident.
Ну, красивая, шумная, неоновая.
Неоновая.
I felt like she was savoring those words.
А на Красной площади был?
Конечно, она такая выпуклая. И в ЦУМе был, и на ВДНХ. Мне больше всего метро понравилось. Там так пахнет.
Как?
She ran up to me, grabbed me by the sleeve, and stared in my eyes with a clear
Не
interest.
могу описать.
А нарисовать?
Что, запах?
Великие музыканты могут сыграть запах.
Не может быть.
Я дам тебе кассеты.
She started twirling in the falling snow again.
Я обязательно побываю в Москве. А главное в Вене. Вена моя мечта. Это же столица музыки. Моцарт, Бетховен, Штраус, филармонический оркестр, государственная опера. Я буду выступать, а ты рисовать.
Her enthusiasm spread to me. I wanted to do something right at this
А ты
moment.
куда хочешь попасть?
I sighed and
В
confessed.
Диснейленд.
I remembered the finest hour show again. Only I preferred Call of the Jungle, but I always spent my Mondays in front of the TV. Colorful tables with numbers and signs, and charming Mr. Supernev at the wheel. And the prizes: chocolate eggs, video equipment, and the most exciting one, a trip to Disneyland for the winner. My parents promised to take me there, to the land of the mouse, and I believed them at first. Well, maybe they also believed it back then. Now, they just reply with silence every time I ask about it, and it saddens me to no end.